right? The start is what stops people. The time is now. The time is right now. In 2 days' time, make a committed decision. If you have to get into debt to get out of debt, I'll do it. That's the only time I'd encourage anybody to get into debt. So I found myself in a big dark hole, right? And I saw that I can either stay in this hole. I want you to create urgency today. On this podcast, I want you to make a decision. I remember when I got the opportunity to work with Bob, it was a big investment that I had to make. I was already in debt, crazy amounts of debt. So imagine Lamborghini says, I'm going to make a supercar that's going to take over Ferrari. And that's all he said. He went back home, he went to bed and he cracked one off and he forgot about the idea. The biggest thing that stops people is the start. You probably heard that before. I want to do this. Okay, I want to do this. You hear people talking about they want to do this, they want to do that. I've got this idea since the beginning of time. I want to fire this person. I want to hire this person. I want to do this marketing campaign. I want to do this. I want to bring this product to the market. And all it is an idea. Without action, without taking any action, nothing's going to happen. The biggest thing that stops people is the start. Have you had something going on in your mind that you've been talking about? Maybe it's investing in your first property. Maybe you want to buy your dream home and you haven't even started looking. If you look at the world, look at people out there, look at the amount of ideas that there are floating about, people talking about ideas, and all they are just ideas. They go on for years just talking about, one day I'm going to start my business, one day I'm going to do this. Maybe you've been thinking about turning your side hustle into like a monster business, but you have so much fear, so much doubt whether you can do this. Well, maybe the time's not right now. Ever heard that? The time's not right. When is the time going to be right? The time is always right. It's always right. But our logic defines how we think. Every decision that we make has an outcome. Whether you do something today, you wait another 6 months. The longer you wait, the less likely it is for you to actually take action and actually make that happen. Can you imagine any invention that you see around yourself? Any new technology that's been out there? Imagine if someone didn't take action on it. What's the greatest thing that you've got? Your greatest possession that you got? A material possession, right? So if I look at one of my Porsches, imagine like the person who started Porsche, he was so dissatisfied about cars, he actually went out and built a Porsche because of dissatisfaction. He could have said, you know what, the time's not right now. I've got 2 young kids, I've got 3 kids, I've got a mortgage. I'll wait until I'm older. How many times I've heard people say, you know what, the time's not right now. It's the wrong time for me to invest. I hear this a lot in the coaching. You know what, I'd love to invest with you, Mindy. I'd love to get your help, but the timing isn't right. When is it going to be right? Something ain't going to magically just happen, right? And the time's going to be right. We make the time right. All the greatest people in the world take action when it doesn't make sense. Okay. If you want illogical results, you've got to do something illogical. If you want to operate with logic, you find all of the reasons why you can't do something right now, why the time is not right. Guess what? What chances do you have of actually making this happen, this big dream? I want you to create urgency today. On this podcast, I want you to make a decision. Yes, you. I want you to make a decision. I want you to bring to the forefront of your mind something that you've been putting off. You told yourself now is not the right time. Okay, I want you to start taking action. What small movements can you take to actually putting that dream into motion? Okay, you want to drive your car, you got to put it into gear first, or otherwise it won't move. You got to get into gear. Just put it into a low gear first to start with, right? If you've got a manual car, put it into low gear and you'll start to develop momentum on the way. We make such a big deal out of things sometimes. We talk ourselves out of things. It's just crazy. That's how we're conditioned. Surround yourself with good people. Surround yourself with other winners and other champions. Get inspired by other people's stories. I remember in my earlier business days, I'd always look for inspiration. I remember a friend of mine telling me about, we've got Vodafone here in the UK, right? Telecoms, communication, cell phones. I remember a friend of mine says, like, before he even started Vodafone, this guy used to go into big houses and used to sit there, and now I know it's called visualization. He used to go there before he can afford it, before he had any money. But he had that dream, he had that desire. So the desire became big enough where it actually urged him to do something. We wait for resources, okay? I want to start my first business, but I don't have the funding, okay? You don't have the funding. Okay, so how can you get the funding? Oh, I better just save up. I remember when I got the opportunity to work with Bob, it was a big investment that I had to make. I was already in debt, crazy amounts of debt. And I remember something he said to me is that you can't make decisions from your current results. You've got to start thinking of where you want to go. Then you start making decisions from that level. So I found myself in a big dark hole, right? And I saw that I can either stay in this hole, wait for the time to be right before I invest with Bob. Okay, it doesn't make sense. People were saying, don't do it, Mindy. You're in 65 grand's worth of debt. You don't get into more debt. In fact, Bob used to say one thing. If you have to get into debt to get out of debt, I'll do it. That's the only time I'd encourage anybody to get into debt. The only time. Dyson Hoovers. I don't know if you got them all around the world. Dyson Hoovers. This guy went to the bank and they would not give him money, but he had persistence. Okay. They said it's not going to work. It's never going to work. Imagine that bank manager now that refused him that loan. But he made it work. He found a way. He made the start. Once you make a start, you attract everything that you need, because when you make the start, you make a decision that flips your brain onto a different frequency. And then what happens is the universe starts to conspire towards you, starts to help you. God, the universe comes into play, says, all right, here's where we're going. I want to go here. I'm making a good decision. I want to do that. Then you'll start to see that things will start to line up for you. You'll meet the right person. Someone else will come along and it will just happen magically. But most people think about, how is it going to happen? And that how is what keeps people stuck. It kills all creation because you're focused on the how. I remember when Bob says, because you don't need to know the how. I said, I want to make 10 grand a month. I don't know how I'm going to do it, because you don't need to know the how. Firstly, you need to make a decision that you want to do it. So firstly, you've got to get into that vehicle. Whatever you're deciding to do, you want to do, I want you to see that as a vehicle. Now, if you don't take that first step and start the vehicle up, the vehicle is not going to go anywhere, right? Are you with me? So put park logic aside. Ask yourself 2 questions. Am I willing and am I able? Am I willing to do what it takes? Am I willing to be different? Am I willing to step up to the game, step up to the plate? You see, people want great results. They want to be wealthy. They want to be successful. And they won't do the things that wealthy and successful people do, which is take action, back themselves, go out, all out on their dreams, finding a way. Do you think when Lamborghini, right? You must have heard the famous story with Lamborghini and Ferrari, the rivalry. Lamborghini, right? He used to make tractors. Ferrari was a big time fucking car guy, right? Massive. Lamborghini dude bought Ferrari and the clutch kept on going or something. I can't remember the exact story, right? Kept on going. And he went up to the Ferrari guy. I've met him somewhere. I watched the film actually. And he said, look, you can make great cars, but your clutches ain't great, blah, blah, blah. He goes, like, you stick to making your tractors and leave me to make my cars. It kind of put him down. And Lamborghini, he says to himself, you know what? I'm going to build a supercar. So he went, right? He went and said, you know what? I'm going to build a supercar. I'm going to build a Lamborghini. Now, if he did not take action, where do you think that brand Lamborghini would be about? I'd say it's a bigger brand than Ferrari. Some might disagree with me, but I used to be a Ferrari guy, but now Lamborghini have got it going on. They got some cars. I go to the Ferrari showroom now and there's nothing in there. I'm like, yeah, I'm fucking bored. But go to the Lamborghini, the cars look stunning, stunning colors, the interior, the sound of the car, just the whole feel of the brand. So imagine Lamborghini says, I'm going to make a supercar that's going to take over Ferrari. And that's all he said. He went back home. He went to bed and he cracked one off and he forgot about the idea. But he didn't, not crack one off, but he didn't forget about the idea. I don't know if he did that or not, but he went home. He went to his drawing board. He started to bring in team members. I think he even got some people from Ferrari that joined up with him and they put the car together. I don't think it worked the first time around, but he had persistence. But look at the brand now. One of the major brands, luxury brands in the world, arguably, right? One of the best brands. That came because he took that first step, said, no, I'm going to do this. And he backed it up. So are you a pussy? Or are you going to back yourself up? How long has that idea been parked up? I want to start this business. I want to do this. I want to do that. But I'm so busy right now. I'll do it later on. No, the time is right now. Make a decision. Make a small move. Don't wait for the time to be right, because the time is never going to be right. I've got to start a family first. Okay, you start a family, you got kids. I've got 2 young kids. I can't take risks. I'll wait until they've gone to uni, until they've left home. I'll wait until I've got more money. Okay, by that time, you think, right now I'm too old. You got 2 people at the opposite ends, right? You got one person who's like 16 and wants to start a business. No one's going to take me seriously. I'm too young. I don't have any experience. On the other hand, you got someone that's 65 or 55, even 45. I've had 40-year-olds say, I'm too old to start a business. I'm too old. I'm ready to die now. Okay, but here's the thing. You're never too old. You're never too old. You're never too old. You're never too young. Age, if you didn't know how old you were right now, how old would you be? What are you waiting for? Do you think life's going to wait for you? Do you think, the universe says, yeah, well, cool, man. We'll just freeze time. We'll freeze reality and we'll come back when you're ready. Then we'll go again. We don't know how long we have on this fucking planet. This is what I'm trying to get across. You want something, you got to make a move today. Just make a move. Go on, do this for me. Make a move. Come on. The how will be shown to you. Firstly, we've got to get into motion. Turn the switch on, turn the light switch on, turn on some desire. Why do you want to do whatever you want to do, right? The start is what stops people. And I think it's really sad because people go to their deathbed, their graves with all these dreams because they didn't do it because they didn't feel now was appropriate time. When is then? I want to get a Lamborghini, right? Okay, you want to get one, but I'll do it when I'm older. Okay, no, why don't you make a move now to get that Lamborghini? What steps can you take now? Okay, maybe I can start a business. Maybe I can start turning my side hustle. Maybe I can put some money into advertising. Maybe I can invest with somebody else that's got a business or wants to start a business. Maybe There's two people at work. I've seen this so many times when I used to have a job, right? Two people. Yeah, let's start a business. Let's start a business. Yes, start a business. Let's start a business. They change jobs. They end up at the same job and they're still talking about starting a business. Do you know people like that? I'm sure you do. Who do you know that's been talking about, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to get into property, I want to get into property development, I want to start fucking buying whatever, I want to start investing, and they never do it. Time goes by, and that time is very valuable because you can't get back time. The time is now. The time is right now. Right now. Not in 2 days' time. Make a committed decision that you're going to go all in on something. I want to get into Mindy's inner circle. I want to work with Mindy. I want you to mentor me. I want you to coach me so I can earn £100,000, £200,000 a month like your clients are, $100,000. But the time's not right now. I just need to hang on a bit. I just need to make a bit more money. All right. But you're not making the whole idea for you to come in so I can help you make money. Right. And yet you're still waiting for the time to be right. Make a decision. Remember, you make a decision that you want to do something, okay? But it's got to be a committed decision and it's got to be backed by action. The moment you make a decision and you take your first step, guess what? You're going to take your second step, your third step, your fourth step. Imagine you want to leave your home, you want to go for a walk. Now, if you don't get off your fucking couch, you ain't going nowhere. So you got to lean up, take the first step, then the second step, third step, fourth step towards the door. And then you open the door and then you're already moving, right? Once you get into motion, it becomes a lot easier. Like I said, it's that thinking about the first step, getting started, that stops people. So don't let that first step stop you.